Help today, though, when bottled water was distributed. In the town of Watsonville, people whose homes were destroyed are living in tents in a park. But by far, the most tragic developments are unfolding in Oakland, at the scene of the highway that collapsed, Route I-880. Workers are slowly going through the rubble, looking for any signs of life. Tonight, that's where we begin our coverage. We get the latest now on the rescue from John Ferrugia in this report from Oakland.
They are now.
But one worker, an Army reservist, says that while that's the official line, he and others have seen cars with passenger compartments intact, and that gives them hope.
The complete front of the Prelude is crushed, and the windshield's crushed in. But I didn't see any sign of the roof being completely crushed down.
So the two figures were intact?
Yes.
Daniel Ruby has been here for 2 days. One of his sons is in the rubble, and he and his son's children are hoping for that 1 in a million miracle.
They're beginning now to fill his absence. And they've been inquiring the mother, where is my dad? He's, especially one, Antonio, he's saying to his mother that my dad has not eaten in 2 days, he must be starving.
He has to be up there. There's no other, we're almost positive, definitely, that he is up there. And now we're just hoping for the best. They say that they have air pockets, and we're hoping that he's caught up in one of those pockets.
It's John Ferrugia of our sister station KCNC reporting from Oakland, California.
That was the scene in Oakland. Rescue and recovery operations are underway right now across a 100-mile area of Northern California. Some earthquake victims are just beginning to see how much this quake will affect their lives. Others are trying to resume their lifestyles.
We're starting to see the tail end now of that heavy traffic. We have followed Highway 880, the Nimitz Freeway.
Rush hour traffic this morning in the San Francisco Bay Area. It's a sign that life is starting to return to normal here. But for many, putting the pieces back together will take much longer.
Yeah, I live here. I demand to go in and get my gear.
You're not going to go in there.
Find out why.
I already told you why.
Call the mayor.
I'm not. You got the number.
In San Francisco's Marina District, where so many older homes and businesses suffered heavy earthquake damage, the new damage is man-made. Work crews are now demolishing weakened buildings in danger of collapsing, and people's possessions are being demolished along with them. Today, people here learned that damage to the Bay Bridge is much more serious than had been thought. It's going to be shut down for at least another several weeks. And structural damage to this highway, Interstate 280, is so severe that it'll have to be closed until at least February. Rescue teams are still searching for survivors amid the debris in San Francisco. But today, no new reports of anyone being found alive. Closer to the earthquake's epicenter in Santa Cruz, California, the search for survivors caused a fight last night. People protesting when a search for a missing man was called off were arrested. Damage in this town is extensive, and earthquake aftershocks last night has made it even worse.
We had a heavy aftershock last night, approximately 5 on the Richter scale, as I understand it. Clearly, it's made things worse. A quick perusal of the area does not show other buildings that have collapsed, but it's compromised the physical integrity of these structures further.
The Pacific Garden Shopping Mall is the heart of the Santa Cruz Business District. Dozens of buildings here will have to be destroyed or repaired. Santa Cruz damage is estimated at more than $600 million, and hundreds of people here have been left homeless by the earthquake. Authorities now say 280 Santa Cruz County homes were destroyed. 80 others were left uninhabitable. And one of the worst things about all of this is that most people in California don't have earthquake insurance. It's available, but it's so expensive that most people there just don't buy it.
Efforts to provide federal aid to earthquake victims continued here in Washington today. But there was a small war of words over whether the Bush administration is playing politics. Jim Upshaw is here now with a report on the aid and on the anger that's been following it. Jim?
Peter, President Bush today said, "Thank God for volunteers who've been in the lead in helping earthquake victims so far." A feud between an angry mayor and Vice President Quayle has now become a sideshow, it seems, as the government steps up its work.
With the California earthquake's worst human toll resulting from the collapse of a highway, Transportation Secretary Skinner says the government will examine that wreckage. His department expected to join a blue ribbon task force in California, where President Bush is heading.
I will be going out there tomorrow to take a look. We talk about 1,000 points of light, but I'm told by the Vice President, I expect you agree, Sam, that the Red Cross and other volunteer agencies are responding with not only alacrity, but with this concern.
The vice president was back in Washington today after touring the damage area, leaving behind an angry mayor who said Quayle refused to see him.
Yeah, I'm ticked off. I can't believe that the vice president of this country comes to a major disaster like we've had in San Francisco, takes a helicopter ride, goes into a shelter, and doesn't have time to discuss it with the mayor of the city or any other official, whether it's the Department of Public Works, to get a bird's eye view of what's happening in this city. Sounds like a publicity stunt to me.
Well, I think that's very unfortunate to take that kind of a shot at a very difficult time. I visited this shelter center.
Hoping to end the spat by winning it, a spokesman for Dan Quayle said today telephone logs prove Mayor Agnos was invited to meet with the vice president at either of two gatherings of Bay Area mayors, but evidently wanted Quayle to come to him. The spokesman said Quayle toured the quake zone with liberal Democratic congressmen and was not trying to snub Democrat Agnos.
FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, has opened a hotline just for Californians who need aid, although it's the Red Cross that will answer the most desperate people.
If they have an immediate need, certainly we can direct that type of inquiry to the Red Cross and other organizations. But if it's a need for temporary housing or it's a need for some other type of financial assistance from the federal government, then we will be getting back in touch with them and assessing what the real needs are and how timely we can provide that.
Meanwhile, engineers from the Commerce Department have flown to California to inspect buildings and other structures to learn why some withstood Tuesday's earthquake and some did not.
This afternoon, to retire the subject of petty politics, perhaps, White House spokesman Marlin Fitzwater said, quote, "We regret very much that the mayor of San Francisco has decided not to cooperate with us, but Peter," he said, "Art Agnos will be invited nonetheless to meet with President Bush tomorrow."
Jim, you put it in perspective when you used the term petty politics.
Perhaps.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you, Jim. There is one disaster relief agency in need of some help tonight. The American Red Cross says it is nearly stretched beyond its capacity with this latest natural disaster. The devastating effects already caused by Hurricane Hugo nearly wiped out the agency's supplies last month. Now with the California earthquake, agency workers are making an urgent plea for help in the form of cash.
And there's some good solid reasons behind why we want cash rather than food and clothing. Primarily, we lack the infrastructure and distribution systems that would effectively enable us to get relief supplies to the disaster site.
If you would like to make a donation to the Red Cross, the address is the American Red Cross Disaster Relief Fund, P.O. Box 37243, Washington, D.C. 20013. Or you can also get more information by calling this toll-free number. It's 1-800-453-9000.
For some frightened Washington area people who were in California when the quake struck, the flight from San Francisco home to D.C. brought great relief. Wendy Rieger was at Dulles Airport when they landed on solid ground this morning.
Most went to San Francisco for business and hoped to stay a few days for pleasure. But then nature took its course.
It was a pretty terrifying experience. I was up on the 11th floor of a hotel.
It was different. First, I guess I realized there was an earthquake right away, and it lasted a little bit longer than I wanted it to.
For Robert Reining, it was nothing new. He was in San Francisco during the last earthquake and had a feeling he was in for an encore.
I did have a feeling that there might be a quake while we were there. It was funny. I had sort of premonition that we were going to have an earthquake.
Really? Why?
I just felt nervous. A couple times during the day, I thought I heard the chandeliers rattle a little bit, which probably was just my imagination. But I wasn't really surprised when it hit, actually.
And while none of them suffered any injuries, they grew tired of the inconveniences and were anxious to come home.
Yeah, there was no reason to stay. There was no power, no water, no food.
Washingtonians weren't the only ones anxious to get out of town.
I was glad that I had this vacation planned and I was getting the hell out of Dodge.
For these travelers, the red eye brought them disaster relief. For Eleanor Calamari, it brought her young daughter, Megan, who was alone in San Jose and wasn't able to call her until yesterday.
Oh, it was just harrowing. I mean, it really was very frightening because we had no idea what was happening in San Jose.
Despite the terrifying moment, all admit it was an interesting visit. Ken Block says it's one he'll never forget. But if his memory ever does fail him, his souvenirs won't. Wendy Rieger, News 4 Washington.
Still to come on News 4 tonight, a star witness provides yet another unexpected turn in the trial of alleged drug lord Rayful Edmond. We'll get a live report. Also, you may be getting more than you bargained for when you buy with credit cards. Lee Thompson has that story.
Barbara Harrison will introduce us to some local Special Olympic skaters getting the opportunity of a lifetime.
Bob Ryan, it certainly felt like a cold, wintry rain that we had out there today. We'll tell you about that and also show you where it was looking like winter today. Stay with us.
Looking for a great deal? Try Wendy's new 99-cent Junior Bacon Cheeseburger. Fresh beef, melted cheese, sizzling bacon, lettuce, and tomato. The new Junior Bacon Cheeseburger, only 99 cents at Wendy's.
Describe the chair you saw, man.
It was Swedish and beautifully designed.
Anything unusual?
Oh, yes, the price.
What about the price, man?
It was so low.
Well, it could be any one of them, man.
IKEA, Swedish for common sense.
Your Nissan dealer is having a fall clearance, so if you need a car with more power, more room, or more of everything, see your Nissan dealer now, because he's making the best deals of the year on all his Nissans. He's offering dealer cash incentives on tough, hard-body trucks, dealer cash incentives on the reliable 12-valve fuel-injected Sentra, and great deals on Maxima, the most trouble-free cars sold in the U.S. So get down to your Nissan dealer's fall clearance now, because the only thing we can't give you is more time.
The new cars always have a few surprises. And this year, AMOCO has a surprise for new car owners who care about quality. The ultimate gasoline guarantee. Use engine cleaning ultimate regularly in your new car. And AMOCO guarantees you won't be surprised by any fuel system problem caused by gasoline. Or AMOCO pays you for the repair. The ultimate gasoline guarantee. Not surprisingly, you'll find it only at AMOCO.
Amtrak's $7 return. Pay $65 or more one way, come back home for just $7.
Looking for a great deal? Try Wendy's new 99-cent Junior Bacon Cheeseburger. Fresh beef, melted cheese, sizzling bacon, lettuce, and tomato. The new Junior Bacon Cheeseburger, only 99 cents at Wendy's.
The casualty count is still coming in from the earthquake in San Francisco area, but right now the area of the greatest devastation and greatest death toll appears to be on I-880, the Nimitz Freeway, where a top deck collapsed when the quake hit on Tuesday. Right now, John Ferrugia joins us live from the cleanup site at the side of that freeway with the latest on the cleanup operation. John?
Yeah, Peter, here in Oakland, officials are saying there just aren't any survivors up there. They don't see how there can be, and that's really being borne out right now. As I look up here, you can see the rescue workers lowering down baskets, bodies. They've been recovering them all day. It's a very tedious operation. They're literally cutting holes in this freeway. They're sandwiched between the cars are sandwiched between. They're cutting holes, trying to get the bodies out, but at the same time, not to disturb the freeway, so the whole thing comes down. So it's a very tedious operation. They just don't believe anybody can survive, although they have seen cars now that aren't totally crushed. They've seen bodies inside, but if they didn't die from trauma, there's been carbon monoxide, gas fumes, other things. So that's the story here. One new point, if you haven't heard this, they've revised the number downward of deaths. They think now there aren't as many cars as they first thought. Maybe only 50 to 150 people have died here instead of the 250. They won't know that for another 5 or 6 days. I'm John Ferrugia reporting live from Oakland.
Some good news. Last night we heard a report that a rescuer going in there under the rubble had reached into a car and had felt his hand caught by another hand. Was there any more on that today?
I'm sorry, Peter, I didn't hear you. If you could repeat it.
Last night we heard one of the rescuers going in after everybody had said there were no survivors expected on I-880. A rescuer had gone in and reached into one of the cars and said they felt somebody else grab their hand in there. What? Do you hear any more about that story?
Peter, I have not heard that. It may indeed be true, but there are lots of stories going around where individual rescue workers come down, they talk to reporters, or they say things that they've heard. We had a rescue worker today talking about looking in and seeing intact bodies and saying, gee, you know, somebody could be in a coma in there. No one really knows that. Thus far, the official word is no survivors.
All right, thank you, John.
WRC TV, Washington's #1 station for late news. This is News 4 at 11 with Jim Vance, Doreen Gensler, weather with meteorologist Bob Ryan, and sports with George Michael. Now, News 4 at 11.
Tonight, aftershocks have been rumbling through the San Francisco Bay Area as the grim work of recovering bodies continues. Workers are digging through the remains of Interstate 880, removing bodies and cars crushed by Tuesday's earthquake. But tonight there is a hopeful sign. The death toll may be lower than was first expected. Good evening, everybody. I'm Doreen Gensler. Jim Vance is off tonight. For the latest on what is going on in the San Francisco Bay Area, we're going to go now to David Diaz. He's a reporter from our sister station, WNBC. He is live at the scene in San Francisco and can tell us the latest about what's going on there. David?
It's a calm San Francisco, about that would be 48 hours plus 3, rather, after the earthquake that happened on Monday. And it is calm because people have been taking a deep breath as they realize that things are not as bad as they feared, certainly not as bad as it appeared in those first hours after the earthquake. Indeed, hour by hour, more and more of what people see are reassuring scenes. Tonight, if not fully lit, San Francisco basked in the twinkle of electricity restored to most of the city. Reassuring testimony that life was returning to normal, although there were plenty of reminders of what had occurred. Steel claws ripping down the remains of buildings that had been undone by the shaking earth, while across the bay, steel saws cut and hacked their way into the destruction between two levels of a collapsed interstate highway. Among those who had come to watch the effort were several who were trying to understand what nature had wrought. People like Scott Lynn. His 8-month pregnant wife, Gina, was rescued from the concrete vise, but she lost the child.
We lost a baby. We were both looking forward to it, you know. It's one of those things, nothing you can do about it.
What I crawled out of was like a foot, from the top to the bottom. There could have been more, I don't know, from my car to that spot. I just crawled. It's the only thing I could do.
And down towards the bay in the marina section, the one area of the city where buildings had been destroyed, people who had been evacuated from their homes were searching for the right color. A color like green or yellow, which meant they had a permit to return to their homes, even if only to retrieve their possessions. This allows you to at least to go in and get your belongings?
Yeah, exactly. Thank God. Need some clean clothes here.
For a few more days, you just minimize it, just so that you just gather your stuff that you can use. And,
Okay.
In San Francisco, David Diaz.
Programs, but the district government complains that where the city needs help, the feds have not responded. Joe Johns, News 4, Washington.
State politics now. In less than 3 weeks, voters in Virginia will go to the polls to decide who the next governor will be. Tonight, voters may have had their last chance to see Democrat Doug Wilder and Republican Marshall Coleman go head-to-head. The two candidates squared off in their last formal televised debate. They talked about a wide range of issues, from education to affirmative action to taxes.
If you'd had your way, the average family in Virginia would be paying $6,000 if the Wilder vision for Virginia of more taxes and against tax cuts had prevailed. My question is, how can men and women afford you as governor of Virginia?
When I've been fighting for tax relief, I've never seen you there. It reminds me of the French general when he said, "We fought today, brave Crillon. You were not there."
The latest pre-election polls show that this race is tight, with Wilder holding a slight lead over Coleman. We'll be back with Bob Ryan's weather in just a moment. Stay tuned.
At Perpetual, we've financed the building of hundreds of houses of worship, temples and churches that other banks had no faith in at all, because we believe in a financial principle the other banks seem to overlook, the one that's printed on every dollar we lend. In God we trust. Perpetual, sensible banking.
You are what you eat. What's true for man is true for machines.
The right diet can make a difference. Get Mobile Super Unleaded Plus. Its detergent formula can unclog vital engine parts. For power and performance, drive your engine clean with Mobile Super Unleaded Plus. Get a free Redskins glass with every fill-up of 8 gallons or more of Mobile Super Unleaded Plus.
Get a handle on savings and values at Macy's Sales Managers Days. Now through Saturday, you'll find our sales managers have created a sensational sale. Save 20 to 50% on fashions, housewares, and so much more. And get a great Macy's carry-all for just $10 with any purchase of $30 or more. It's the perfect time to get a handle on savings and carry away a great bag. Macy's Sales Managers Days, Thursday through Saturday.
When you're in business, timing is everything. That's why Eastern Airlines is so dedicated to being on time. According to the latest government figures of all major airlines, Eastern clocks in #1 again in on-time performance 11 of the last 12 months. Eastern, on time, time after time, because business waits for no one.
The only thing worse than a window insulator kit that won't stay up is one that's tough to take down. Ouch! That's why you want 3M window insulator kits with genuine 3M tape from the maker of Scotch brand tapes. They're guaranteed to stay up all winter, yet come down clean and easy in the spring. No residue, no damage. Look for 3M window insulator kits. The difference is 3M tape.
Oh, what fun! What fun! Instant fun.
Score $2,500 instantly in Maryland's new field goal game.
So we're wet, we're cold, but at least we're not snowed on,
That's right. Boy, folks out in Indiana, they're looking at their leaves, Doreen, and saying, boy, this is the weekend that we should be doing some raking, doing some leaf looking. Well, out there, they're looking at some colorful leaves, but also a lot of snow. First of all, around our region, this would be a great weekend up on Skyline Drive, but it's going to be a cold weekend up there, and there may even be some snow up there before the weekend is over, especially Saturday when our temperatures, I'm afraid, are not going to get too much out of the 50s. Some good color down south. It's past peak up north and through much of Indiana. And look at the colors that are in Indiana today. It is still snowing, as a matter of fact, throughout Illinois and Indiana. This was earlier this morning. South Bend, Indiana, right now has 5 to 6 inches of snow on the ground. Peru, Indiana, 8 inches of snow on the ground, and it is still snowing through a wide area of Indiana. Take a look at that storm. This is the one that produced the cold rains over us. Big swirl in the atmosphere, the air coming all the way from Canada, now sweeping down to the Gulf states where there are frost and freeze warnings out for a wide area of the south. Take away the clouds and you can see where the lingering rains are. Some thunderstorms off the coast of North Carolina. Really nothing much around us other than some tickly drizzle. While it was a record high 92 today in Miami, our high temperature got up to 58 degrees in between the raindrops. Right now we're at 57 with a gusty northeasterly wind at 8 miles per hour. All of our weather watchers reporting temperatures in the low 40s out toward the Blue Ridge to the around 50, 51 here, down to our south. Look at 30s already through a wide area of Alabama and Mississippi. New Orleans right now is 48 degrees colder in New Orleans than it is in Cut Bank, Montana, where it's 51. Chicago's getting some heavy snow, and there could be a freeze as far south as the central and southern areas of Mississippi and Alabama tonight. Here's our rainfall that we've had. All our weather watchers reporting in generally 1 inch to 1.5 inches to 2 inches, and out toward the Blue Ridge over the past couple of days as much as 3 inches of rain. So it was a real soaker. Big picture again shows the storm moving to our north, but with the big swirl, this is like a huge whirlpool of cool, moist air that will dominate our weather for the next couple of days. The cold air comes sweeping behind that storm as it moves to our north. So while we may see a few breaks in the clouds, it is going to be downright chilly right on through Saturday. Then we'll get some of the milder air out through the Midwest in here for the day on Sunday. Tomorrow, though, temperatures only in the 50s, while some lingering snows continue around the lakes. Could be worse. My forecast for us overnight, still a bit of lingering drizzle. Temperatures high 40s to about 50. Tomorrow when you get up, head out to work and head to school, bundle up again. It will be just generally cloudy, I think. There may be still a bit of dampness here and there. Temperatures, though, only getting up to about 60 degrees. Tomorrow night, 37 to 43 degrees. And for the weekend, Saturday will be partly sunny, but it is going to be a cold day on Saturday. We're going to have our weather watchers do calisthenics to keep warm at the picnic, I'm afraid. Temperatures only in the low 50s. Sunday will be a nice day. Temperatures in the 60s. Can take in the sights out around Skyline Drive on Sunday.
Those weather watchers, they're a hardy group,
they are
though.
hardy.
They go outside to report in to you all the time.
We'll have a good time no matter what.
Thank you, Bob. We will be back with sports and Arch Campbell right after this.
Come to our country for its contrasts. Come for history.
And romance.
Ceremony.
And yes, romance.
Fly USAir to the Bahamas. Call your travel consultant or USAir.
Hey, Mark Rippon, you're looking pretty sharp.
Thanks.
Looks like a good season, huh?
Yep, we're fired up.
Got some good incentive clauses in your contract?
Yeah, and something extra, too.
Oh, what's that?
A Redskins CD from Trust Bank Savings.
Oh, what?
It's a great deal. A one-year CD that pays an excellent rate. It pays you more if the Skins have a winning season.
No kidding.
And more if we make the playoffs.
Really?
And more if we go to the Super Bowl.
Wow.
And even more if we win. A Redskins CD from Trust Bank Savings. You just can't lose.
On which shuttle will you find the world's most famous investor in real estate, hotels, and transportation? On the corporate jet, of course.
The Pan Am Shuttle, the corporate jet.
How fast is this man talking? Oh, about 500 miles an hour.
The Pan Am Shuttle, the corporate jet.
You are here in the pursuit of one thing, an atomic bomb.
In a time that demanded the most of America, he demanded the most of men.
So what is it you're working on? What is it that's so damn important?
It is important. She's a card-carrying communist. Tell her, goodbye.
The task was impossible.
We can give this country the biggest stick in the playground, and I intend to do that.
But his passion was undeniable.
I can do it without you. Well, if you do, and something goes wrong,
I wanted to tell him I love him because he's going to die.
it's a crisis of conscience. You got one job, Doctor. Give me the bomb.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Paul Newman, Fat Man and Little Boy, rated PG-13, starts Friday, October 20th at a theater near you.
George is off. Todd is on. Now what about this Redskin meeting?
It's big stuff, I'll tell you. You know, last night's players-only meeting by the Redskins is still a hot topic of conversation. Tonight, George Michael asked Coach Joe Gibbs if it bothered him that the players felt the need to have to meet on their own.
That doesn't concern me at all, because I think there are going to be, you're apprehensive sometimes if coaches are there. I've been under coaches and played under coaches, and coaches are kind of more or less telling you what to do. And I think the makeup of a football team, the important thing which I try and tell our players, which I think is true, is the team is, it's not my team. It's really these players' teams. It's going to be their pride that's on the line. They're going to be the ones that are out in the public, along with us, the coaches and everybody else, that answers the questions and why didn't you win, and have to live with the fact that if you lose. And I think it's the players' team in so many ways.
You can hear more from Coach Gibbs along with wide receiver Art Monk Saturday night at 7 o'clock on the Redskins Report right here on Channel 4. In other Redskin news, quarterback Doug Williams, who is still recovering from back surgery, went to the doctor this afternoon. Earlier today on Live at 5, I asked Doug if he had any good news to report.
I heard some good news, Todd. I went to Dr. Ammerman, and we both sat down and we discussed you know, my situation. He thought that at this particular time that I can go out and do some things in practice. The only thing that he was concerned about whether or not did we hit in practice not. And I told him we didn't. We didn't do any hitting. He said it's better to just go and get, you know, kind of familiar with doing it again. And what I'm hoping to do, hopefully, you know, if Coach Gibbs approves, is to go out and be able to throw 7-on-7 against our defense team during the week if I can.
Only time will tell there. Now in basketball news, former Maryland graduate assistant Jeff Atkins has admitted he did violate NCAA rules by arranging to sell 1988 ACC tournament tickets for players. Atkins told the Richmond Times-Dispatch that he sold 20 complimentary tickets because he was upset that the other assistant coaches were making $50,000 while he was only making $6,000. Atkins added that he was not involved in making payments to former Terrapin Rudy Archer, which is alleged to have taken place during the tenure of former head coach Bob Wade. In hockey, the Caps are off until tomorrow when they'll host the Islanders over at the Cap Center. In action tonight, Rangers beat the Whalers 7-3. The Nordiques outskated the Blackhawks 5-3, and it was the Red Wings knocking off the Blues by a final of 4-3. One other hockey note, Flyers goalie Ron Hextall has decided to end his contract holdout and is eligible to rejoin the team on November 4th. Hextall is still serving a 12-game suspension after attacking Montreal's Chris Chelios in last year's playoffs. Moving to boxing, it's a good thing that Charles Dredd has a career to fall back on. Tonight, the Maryland State policeman was devastated in the first round by heavyweight Håkan the Rock Brock. Brock's the one in the blue trunks. He's 6'7" out of Sweden. Brock would come up with a big left hand. Look at this guy, how big he is. And here comes the left. It's going to hit Dredd right on the button, and Dredd goes down. Dredd would get up. I don't know why, but he did get up and would take a standing 8 count from the referee, Teddy Pick. Only just a few moments later, Håkan the Rock Brock would go back to work. 6'7", this guy, boom, right hand right there. Dredd would go down again. The Rock is now 5-0 with all 5 wins coming by knockout. Now take a look at this celebration. Does this guy remind you of Drago? You know, guy, he looks just like Drago out of Rocky IV. That's a look at sports. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, and for the trooper, don't quit your day job, right? Paul Newman's got a new movie out. Arch Campbell's here with a review for us.
The name of the movie is Fat Man and Little Boy. Now, this was the code name for the 2 atomic bombs built by scientists in New Mexico during World War II. Paul Newman plays the general who recruited Dr. Robert Oppenheimer and other scientists to design the weapons that could kill us all. The guy pushes the project even after it appears it's not needed.
Perhaps we can find some other use for this work. Fascism's dead.
You mean in Europe? What do they think the Japanese are doing, shooting squirrels?
No, they're not shooting squirrels, and that's not the issue.
What is the issue?
They don't have the technology. They're not capable of it. So, if we don't need it, why make it?
I want you to look at something. It's the largest collection of nothing in the entire world. Make them work. Then you got something. An irresistible something. Just the threat. And they're ours.
This movie is sometimes talky, but fascinating, fair, and thoughtful. 3.5 stars. You won't forget it easily. Fat Man, Little Boy. I like it.
You liked it. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Arch. Good night, everybody. See you tomorrow.